Hey guys, just a really quick clarification with this video. It's just a little gag video as a reference to the little gotta go fast catchphrase I used to say in all the 5-minute guides. I know it may be a little bit annoying to people who just came for a proper guide, but for those who are just looking for the guide and nothing else, I've actually got down in the description below the full all inputs Monster Hunter Rise playlist that you can go and check out. This one's just for fun. In the last month, we've had over 800 subscribers join the channel, and that's just absolutely insane. I just wanted to do a tribute to these videos because, I mean, most of the traffic has been thanks to those guides. So thanks to all of you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Gotta go fast.
So long as I have my sword to fight with, I'm sure to survive.
I've been fighting in battles for as long as I can remember. I've never had anything except my sword.
Your go-to attack will always be a charging attack. You can do this from a draw attack or idle position by holding down X. The charge is at max power when you see the hunter flex and a yellow flash. During longer openings, you can chain it into a strong charge while holding forward and X, and then into a true charge slash while holding forward and X again. Ideally, during big openings, this is what you want to go for. You can also get the true charge slash through doing tackles on the ground mid-charge by pressing A and then charging again. You can also use tackles to armor through monster attacks to avoid interruption. There are more ways to get to true charge slash, but that should get you started. There are single hit attacks you can use during smaller openings, but always try to go for the big damage with greatsword. That's simply how you play the weapon, period. Also remember to roll out of big attacks to avoid end lag. I almost forgot, you can block with the greatsword by pressing ZR. But this is greatsword, not lance, so just forget I told you that.
As for wirebug attacks, my recommendation is Adamant Charge Slash. You unlock this later as a switch skill by crafting or upgrading 8 unique greatswords. Don't even use Hunting Edge, it's terrible. The input for this is ZL plus X. The main advantage of this is closing distances and resisting knockback from attacks. It's super good, you'll see. You can get the same result as Hunting Edge with more freedom by simply launching into the air with a wirebug and charging the greatsword on the way down. You can also press ZL plus A with your weapon drawn to go forward, sheath your weapon and gain a temporary power boost, which is more than handy. The longsword features a spirit gauge that has 4 levels: base, white, yellow and red. Each level has higher rates of damage respectively. We'll come back to this later. This is the standard X combo of the weapon. This does good damage and should be your go-to combo. This is the A combo. This does less damage, but is good for smaller openings. You can weave in the X and A combos however you like based on the situation. By pressing X and A together, you can do a Fade Slash. I don't use it much, but it exists. Pressing ZR 3 times is your Spirit combo attack. Your gauge needs to be full to complete this combo. If the final hit of the combo hits, you'll go up another level of your Spirit gauge. After any attack, you can press ZR and B together to enter a special sheath position. Note that I'm using the Quick Sheath level 3 skill, which greatly speeds this up. Make this your highest priority skill with longsword. From this stance, you can either press X, which will give you this forward moving slash attack, or you can press ZR, which will propel you forward in a wide sweeping motion. A successful hit with the X option will have your spirit gauge refill over time. If you successfully time the ZR option with a monster attack, you will counter the monster, avoiding all damage while dealing considerable damage to the monster and also gaining a level on your spirit gauge. This is what you want to be aiming for in your longsword gameplay. An alternative reaction attack with the longsword is the Foresight Slash, which can be used mid-combo by pressing ZR and A together. It's less powerful and only refills your spirit gauge, so it should only be used when you don't have time for a special sheath. Now let's dive into wirebug attacks. By pressing ZL and A, you get this counter attack with a large window. It has the potential for big damage, but uses 2 wirebugs, so use it conservatively. The ZL and X wirebug move looks like this. It functions differently based on your input after landing on the monster. If you press nothing, you will plunge downward and a successful hit will have your spirit gauge replenish over time. If you press ZR upon hitting the monster, you'll do this high damage maneuver that consumes 1 level of spirit gauge and does more damage based on your current level.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Lois, this is not my Batman glass.
The 3-hit X combo combines weak cutting attacks and blunt attacks. The 3-hit A combo are strong sword attacks. Pressing X and A together after a 3-hit A combo will do a powerful finisher. Pressing X and A together after any other input will do a round slash. Inputting a direction while performing a round slash will have you face that direction. This combo can be used in a longer opening. Pressing forward in the direction the hunter is facing while pressing A 3 times is the shield basher combo. This does high KO damage and is best used on the head. Keep in mind elemental and status effects are linked to the sword only. The shield doesn't apply them. Press back and A after an attack and you will enter this backstep. This is a huge part of the sword and shield's kit and many actions can be performed from it. If you press nothing or mistime an input, you will do a forward lunge. If you hold A, you will do a charging sword attack. You can time it depending on the situation. If you land on the monster from a charge attack, you will leap into the air and either press A to slam down with your shield, or press X to do a weak sword attack. I would recommend always just pressing A though. During the backstep, if you press X right before you hit the ground, you will enter the perfect rush combo, where you will need to time 3 consecutive hits with X. If you time it just right, you will do an extremely high damage combo. You can time the combo by either looking for the red flashes or feeling the vibration cues on the controller. Whatever works for you. If you mistime it, you will remain still in an animation for a while.
Okay though.
You can guard with ZR, but the guarding abilities are extremely poor with this weapon, so try not to think of it as a blocking weapon. Now onto Y-bug attacks.
Pressing ZL and X will do this launching maneuver. When landing on a monster from this move, you have 3 options. You can press X for a weak sword attack, A for a shield bash, or X and A together for a sword thrust that hits multiple times. I also recommend switching out the ZL plus A maneuver for the switch skill Mitsu Shurigeki, which looks like this. To unlock this switch skill, you'll need to complete the 4-star hub quest, Study the Sword and Shield. It's an extremely powerful shield uppercut, which can be used to guard at the start of the move. It uses 2 Y-bugs, so don't spam it.
The most fundamental part of the dual blades is Demon Mode. You can enter it at any time by pressing ZR. Demon Mode boosts your speed and attack power greatly, and slightly alters your moveset. For example, you can get this nice multi-hit combo when pressing X and A together. You want to be using Demon Mode as much as possible in all encounters. It consumes your stamina though, so be wary of that. As you attack in Demon Mode, you will fill up this gauge. Once it's full, it will become red. A red gauge means you will be in Arc Demon Mode, outside of Demon Mode. This state is much better than being in your base state. It's basically a weaker Demon Mode without the speed and the X and A multi-hit combo. You can perform something similar in Arc Demon Mode, but you will need to press X and A together 3 times consecutively. TLDR, Demon Mode is better. Keep using Demon Mode. Now for Y-bug attacks.
You can press ZL plus X to do this kunai pierce. It doesn't look like much here, but it's the most damage dealing move in the Dual Blades kit. Once the kunai is placed, you have a small time frame before it explodes. The more hits you get in before it explodes, the more damage it does. The ZL plus A Y-bug attack pulls you in the direction the hunter is facing. Successfully doing this through an attack or roar will grant you invincibility and also deal damage to the monsters within range. It's basically a counter. Now I'll show off the 2 styles of playing Dual Blades. First up, regular Dual Blades. Regular Dual Blades is all about using your speed to be aggressive, as well as reactive. In this style, pressing A has your hunter doing a spinning attack while closing some distance. Your attacks don't deal much damage on their own, but due to your maneuverability and Y-bug attacks, you can still run circles around monsters. Literally. And here's aerial Dual Blades. Instead of A being your closing distances move, it becomes a leaping attack that hurls you into the air upon successfully hitting a monster. You'll need to have unlocked 3-star village quests to swap out this switch skill. It's called Demon Flight. It does way more damage than grounded Dual Blades, but you are also far more vulnerable. Once in the air, you can press X to attack in the air, or you can press A to do this. To guard, hold ZR. Naturally, this shield will take better hits than any other in the game, but a few points in guard up will make you virtually untouchable. Your bread and butter attacks are pokes. Press X up to 3 times for low pokes. Press A up to 3 times for high pokes. If you hold X and A together, you can do this charge sweeping attack. It does big damage, but leaves you wide open, so be careful. Just remember, the lance works in combos of 3, so you can only do 3 actions before the combo resets. While holding ZR to guard, you can hold A to enter this defensive stance. Upon hit, you will parry the incoming attack and strike back with your lance. What I really want to drive home in this video though, is mobility. If you can master movement with the lance, everything else will come easily. You can press B up to 3 times to back hop out of the way. If you hold the joystick back, that is behind the hunter, while back hopping, you can do an extra long back hop. You can also press B while holding any other direction to sidestep or step forward. You can weave these back hops and steps into your combos. Back hops and steps reset your combos as well, so use this to your advantage. If you press ZR plus X plus forward, you will do a guard dash. Press A following this for a leaping thrust. Excellent for closing distances. Press X following the guard dash for a shield attack that does low stun damage. When it comes to practicing Lance, focus 90% of your effort on movement. Trust me, the attacks are really simple, it's getting around efficiently that will be most rewarding. To charge, hold ZR to guard, and while guarding, press X and A together. You'll charge for as long as your stamina will allow for. You can end a charge with an X or A attack. If you bitch out, you can cancel with ZR.
Press ZL plus X to initiate this maneuver. Allow me to demonstrate poorly on this dead Rathian. With the kunai planted, press ZL plus B to launch yourself back toward the kunai. Lancers, crucify me in the comments and tell us all how it's done. Your ZL plus A move is much more important though, in my opinion. This is similar to the parry before. However, this counter move is far more powerful and boosts your attack power depending on the power of the move absorbed.
Like the lance, the Gunlance can poke 3 times with X. However, high pokes have been traded out for shelling by pressing A. Shelling really chews through sharpness though, so keep that in mind. You can string together pokes with shelling attacks to keep combos going longer. You can reload your shells by pressing ZR plus A. Movement fundamentals are the same as lance. You can back up, sidestep, and hop forward. For a more detailed refresher, check out my 5-minute lance guide. By pressing X and A together, you do this upward scoop attack. This is an opener to some high damage options. You can follow it up with X to slam down and press X again for a wide sweep. Or you can follow up the slam with A to unload the rest of your shells at once. You can do the forward scoop attack from an unsheathed position by moving forward and pressing X. From here, you must press X and A together to enter the slam combo path. I don't make the rules, that's just how it is. Press ZR, X, and A together for Wyvern. This does big damage and is great for wake up attacks. Note the cooldown here. Next up is Worm Stake Cannon. You can get to this option in a couple of ways. For one, you can press X at the end of the scoop slam sweep combo path. The easier way is to simply press A 3 times. Instead of shelling a 3rd time, you will unleash a Worm Stake Cannon. The Worm Stake Cannon will not be usable again until you reload your shells. Now, Blast Dash. This is a switch skill that can be obtained by crafting or upgrading 8 unique gun lances. You can string 3 of these together in any direction, given you have enough shells. Just keep in mind you need to start holding A and the direction you want to travel as soon as the initial blast dash is executed. If you press A multiple times following a blast dash, you can start levitating upwards. You can press X on the way down too if you want. You can also cancel a blast dash with X. You can follow up with a full burst if you like, by pressing A. Let's talk wirebug attacks.
First up, we want to swap out the ZR plus X move for Ground Splitter. You can get it by unlocking 3-star village or 2-star hub quests. This powers up your shells, Worm Stake Cannon, and Wyvern Blast. By pressing X immediately after the first strike of Ground Splitter, you can do a faster than normal Worm Stake Cannon. Keep in mind, sheathing cancels the power up. ZL plus A will have you enter this brief counter position. Successfully absorbing an attack will have you negate the damage and sharpen your weapon. This will also allow you to use the faster Worm Stake Cannon by pressing A after.
Hammer goes.
The hammer's basic 3-hit X combo looks like this. The golf swing hit at the end is extra strong. You can combo into a golf swing by pressing A, X, X. There is also an A combo called the Big Bang combo, but it requires you to successfully hit the monster repeatedly to continue the combo. The core of hammer gameplay though is charging. You can charge the hammer by holding ZR. Like the greatsword, the hammer has 3 levels of charge. However, charging the hammer consumes stamina, and you can hold max charge without penalty, as long as your stamina holds out, that is. You can also move around while charging the hammer. Each level of charge has a different animation and attack depending on whether you're moving or not, so experiment to find out what works for you. Your standard level 3 standing still charge looks like this. Your standard level 3 moving charge is this spinning top move. You can release this spin with an attack with X at any time, but if you spin more than 3 times without pressing X, you'll fall over. While charging, you can press A to enter a new stance. Notice the hammer in the top left turns purple. This essentially changes the level 3 charge attacks of your hammer. The purple stance level 3 standing still charge looks like this. It results in a lot of N lag, so you can press B to cancel the lag and roll out of it. Or you can hold ZR briefly to cancel the N lag and go into another charge attack or combo. While moving, your level 3 purple charge does this overhead smack. You can also go straight into a level 3 charge by switching between purple and yellow charge, but it doesn't work vice versa, so keep that in mind. Let's move on to Y-bug attacks.
Pressing ZL plus X does this spinning bludgeon attack. You can charge up to level 3 before launching if you like. Or you can start charging immediately after pressing ZL plus X. Pressing ZL plus A does this impact crater attack. When charged to level 3, this is by far the most damaging move of the hammer, but it leaves you wide open and costs 2 wire bugs, so make sure you have a big enough opening. Before any encounter with the hunting horn, make sure you play self-improvement by pressing ZR. See how much faster you move compared to not using it? The hunting horn doesn't have a draw attack like the rest of the weapons. However, this is good for this weapon, as it allows you to draw into any note as demonstrated here. You'll see your songs listed here. Each hunting horn has its own unique set of songs, so choose one based on the kinds of buffs you'd like applied. To play a song, simply press the corresponding button, or note, twice. Alternatively, if you have played each note at least once on the bar, you can activate an attack called the Magnificent Trio. The input for this attack will be displayed here if you are able to play it. This attack does a lot of hits and plays all your songs at once. Honestly, I would recommend just using a combination of notes and using the Magnificent Trio as much as possible. You can get away with using that strategy and being extremely effective while doing it. Hunting horn combos aren't that important for beginners. But for the sake of giving you some fundamentals, X notes are left swings and A notes are right swings. You can loop these together infinitely. You can weave these options together however you like for experimentation. Most combinations can be used without dropping the combo. Just remember to use your Magnificent Trio when you can, and you'll be fine. While in battle, you'll see this gauge fill up as you attack the monster. When it's full, it will glow yellow. This will signal that you can play your Infernal Melody. To play the Infernal Melody, simply press ZR at the end of your Magnificent Trio. Apart from looking cool as hell, it significantly boosts the attack of you and your allies. Now onto Y-bug attacks. First up is ZL plus X, an attack that will have you launching forward while attacking. It can armor through some weaker attacks too. You can also play an Infernal Melody at the end of the animation by pressing ZR. Next is ZL plus A. This is your big boy Unga Bunga attack. It is just ridiculously strong. However, it has a long wind up and costs 2 Y-bugs. Not only that, but the recharge on the Y-bugs is extremely slow, so if you mess up, you can end up in a lot of trouble. The Switch Axe has 2 modes, Axe mode and Sword mode. Think of Sword mode as your big damage mode. The catch is, using Sword mode is finite. When Sword mode is down, you can use Axe mode in between. The only switch skill I will recommend changing from default is Forward Overhead Slash, which can be unlocked by completing the 3-star urgent village quest, Feathered Frenzy. Let's get into the Axe mode combos. You can loop a 3-hit X mode combo like this. By spamming the A button, you can do this wide swinging axe attack. Just be mindful that it depletes your stamina. By pressing X in the middle of this combo, you'll do a finishing attack, and will result in these arrows showing up next to the sword gauge. Remember this, we'll come back to it. Alternatively, you can press ZR during the combo, and you'll do this wide range spin attack. To morph into sword mode, press ZR while idle. It's the same going from sword to axe. That combo I showed off before can be used as a morph attack into sword mode by pressing ZR one more time. For sword mode, your X combo will have you sweeping up and down with the sword. The A combo has you swinging left to right and then has a jumping finisher. This is a great DPS combo for an infinite loop. But let's be real, we're all here for this attack, the finishing discharge.
To execute this move, press X and A together, and then start spamming the X button quickly until you see the explosion. Be mindful that if you try to use sword mode when the gauge is below this marker, you'll be forced into a lengthy reload animation. You'll notice when landing hits on the monster while in sword mode, a meter outside the sword gauge will fill up. Notice how when the orange arrows are up, the meter fills faster. This is why I showed you that combo in axe mode earlier. When the gauge is full, your sword gauge will glow green. This means your weapon is amped up, and attacks in both sword and axe mode will be more potent. But most importantly, your finishing discharge can now do this. The input is exactly the same as a regular finishing discharge. Now moving on to wide bug attacks.
First up, ZL plus X is Invincible Gambit. This has you hurling forward with your axe, allowing you to power through monster attacks. However, despite the name, you still take damage, so use with caution. ZL plus A lunges you forward and restores some sword gauge. Your sword gauge will also not deplete for a short amount of time. This move is really abusable, so you may as well take advantage of it.
The Charge Blade is known for being one of the most complicated yet rewarding weapons in the game. The weapon has two modes, Sword Mode and Axe Mode. Sword Mode is used to charge the weapon up, and the Axe Mode is used to expend the charged effects. Before we get into weapon combos, let's go over the fundamentals of the Charge Blade first. Attacking in Sword Mode will charge your files.
Yep.
The files are indicated next to the shield icon in the weapon gauge.
Yep.
Continuing to attack will see your files go from yellow to red to flashing red. Notice when your files are flashing red, your sword attacks will bounce.
That makes sense to me.
This signifies you are overcharged and need to store your files. You can do this by pressing ZR plus A.
I don't get it.
When the gauge is yellow, you will gain 3 files, and when it is red, you will gain 5 files. You can expend these files in a variety of ways. For one, in Axe mode, you can use A attacks to deal file damage, or you can press X plus A in Axe mode to do an amp discharge for more damage. You can also cancel an amp discharge with ZR to convert your files into your shield, which will in turn give you a stronger shield that does additional damage also. With the charge shield, you can press ZR plus A to charge files and hold X to power up your sword. Also, with a charge shield, your amp discharge will turn into a super amp discharge, which will expend all of your files at once for big damage. Now let's talk combos. First up, sword mode. You have a basic 3-hit X combo that ends in a round slash. Pressing X and A together when idle is a lunging sword attack. You can press X plus A together in between attacks to do shield thrusts. Holding ZR will have you guard with the shield. Holding the A button will have you do a charged sword attack. Look for the yellow flash for the perfect time to release the button. You can weave the charged sword attack into most combos. Pressing A in any direction after a charged sword attack will have you slide into a round slash. My favourite combo for charging files is chaining charged sword attacks and shield thrust together. It keeps you in one place and charges files quickly. Finally, by pressing X plus A together 3 times, you will go into an amped or super amped discharge depending on the state of your shield. Now for Axe mode. You can enter Axe mode from a sheath position by pressing ZR plus X plus A together. From sword mode, you can enter Axe mode by pressing ZR plus X. To go back to sword mode, press ZR and you will do a round slash attack back into sword form. You can loop an X combo infinitely, which will have you swinging the axe up and down. This will not consume files. However, pressing A in sword mode will. These attacks are horizontal. The third attack in the A combo will lead to an ant discharge scenario where you can either store your files in your shield or let rip into the monster. Next, let's talk Y-bug attacks.
First up is ZL plus X. This will launch you forward and give you 2 options. You can press X for a roundhouse slash, or X plus A together for an amp discharge. Use whichever suits your situation better. Next is ZL plus A. This is a counter-attack position that restores your files. You can also act immediately out of this. You can press X, which will charge your sword and have you perform a powerful downward thrust, or you can press X and A together for an amp discharge scenario.
I don't understand a word you just said.
If you're a beginner to the insect glaive, I suggest going to the blacksmith and purchasing a kinsect with the dual colour kinsect bonus. This will make getting your extracts much simpler when starting out. First up, controlling your kinsect. With your weapon drawn, you can aim with the right stick while holding ZR. Keeping ZR held, you can send out the kinsect with X, and return with A. You can also send out your kinsect from a sheath position by pressing ZR, but it is less precise. If your aim isn't too hot, you can mark the monster's body with ZR, which will create a powder on that body part. The colour of the powder also represents the colour of the extract you will get from it. While the powder is active, your kinsect will gravitate towards it no matter where you aim. You can also create a powder by aiming with ZL and pressing ZR to shoot the marking. Here are the extract effects put simply. Red extract buffs your attack and changes your attacks and combos. White extract speeds up your movement. Orange extract buffs your defense and helps prevent knockbacks. And having all extracts active at once grants level 5 earplugs. I encourage trying to get all extracts for combat, but at the bare minimum, at least, always get the red extract, or you'll really be missing out on the Insect Glaive's abilities. Okay, now for grounded combat. Your go-to combo for big openings on the ground is XXA on a loop. Watch the animations closely for the timing of inputs. For quick pokes, press X while holding forward and X again. Next, I want to talk about the leaping slash and tornado slash. This is a great move for opening and closing combos. You can access it from a running draw attack by pressing X, or pressing A while moving forward with your weapon drawn. Tornado slash can be accessed after 2 A inputs, or as a finisher to the strong rising slash combo. If you hold the directional button behind the hunter in a tornado slash situation, you will do a backflip attack. Now for aerial combat. There are 2 ways to get in the air. Pressing ZR plus B,
and pressing ZL plus X. While in the air, you have a few options. You can press X to do multiple attacks straight down, press B in any direction for an air dodge,
I believe I can fly.
Press A in any direction for a multi-hit slash attack.
I believe I can touch the sky.
Notice how the final hit of an A attack in the air leads to this vaulting dance animation.
I think about it every night and day.
During this animation, you can act again, continuing your aerial combo.
Spread my wings and fly away.
You can use any of the aerial options I have demonstrated after this.
I believe I can soar.
Which allows for a lot of flexibility and creativity. Next, an extremely important switch skill I consider to be mandatory for Insect Glaive is Diving Wyvern. You unlock it by completing the 6-star hub quest, Invoking the Insect Glaive. On its own, this move does decent damage, but its true strength lies in using it as a combo finisher of aerial attacks. The more aerial attacks you string together, the more damage it will do. The maximum amount of aerial attacks you can string together is 3 though, so keep that in mind when going for the move. If you're struggling with aerial movement, here's a nice little exercise to get you used to it. The floor is lava.
You can draw your weapon with X, you can aim with ZL, and shoot with ZR. Due to aiming with ZL, wirebug moves are mapped to R. To cycle through your ammo types, hold the L button and press X or B to cycle through the list. The radial menu is an excellent way to cycle to your most used ammo types or craft more ammo on the fly. Use at your own discretion. To reload, you can either press X or empty your clip and continue to press ZR. The concept of critical distance, which basically means you are within the zone that does maximum damage. When the reticle is bright orange, you are within critical distance. This varies across different ammo types, which I will elaborate on in the ammo type section. Special ammo types are mapped to the A button. You can do a melee attack with X plus A. Ammo can mostly be purchased from the merchant, but it can also be crafted. Each bowgun utilizes a unique set of ammo. Keep this in mind when purchasing a new weapon and preparing for your hunts. Now for what is different between the weapons. Light bowgun. As the name suggests, the light bowgun is lighter and allows you to move more freely. It has access to rapid fire mode. Note the orange arrows. Rapid fire is only available on certain weapons and limited ammo types. It has access to wyvern blasts. These are mines that explode on impact. You have 3 wyvern blasts at a time, and they are restored on a cooldown. At the blacksmith, you can attach a silencer or long barrel. I recommend just equipping the long barrel, especially if playing solo.
As for default wirebug attacks, R plus X has you vault in the air, and you can either shoot, reload, or plant a wyvern blast during this animation. R plus A closes some distance, and pressing ZR will have you shoot a large shot for mounting damage. Now for heavy bowgun.
This bowgun is much slower, but typically has higher attack values. The heavy bowgun allows for charge shots by holding ZR. Excellent for wyvern ammo and lining up shots, but not much else.
Are you listening to me? Hello?
Wyvern ammo is also exclusive to heavy bowgun. It's essentially one big explosive attack. Heavy bowguns have access to 2 special ammo types, Wyvern Snipe and Wyvern Heart. Wyvern Snipe is a piercing shot that explodes moments after impact.
Wyvern Heart is a minigun style rapid fire attack. Both have time cooldowns. At the blacksmith, you can attach a shield or power barrel. The shield can be very useful due to the weapon's sluggish mobility, but if you're confident, go for the power barrel.
As for default Y-bug attacks, R plus X is a counter maneuver which allows you to vault backwards upon firing. Note that the charge animation exists to aid in lining up the shot. It does not actually increase damage the longer it is charged. R plus A is a dashing maneuver. I recommend ignoring this and slotting in evade extender instead. You draw your weapon with X. To apply a coating, press X. This is important, but I'll touch on it later. With your weapon drawn, you can do backups with B. You can press A for a melee attack that does slicing damage. This can be done twice in a row. You aim with ZL and shoot with ZR. You are within critical distance when the reticle glows bright orange. This is the sweet spot where you deal maximum damage. You can charge your shot by holding ZR. In most cases, I would recommend just spamming ZR to shoot though. As demonstrated here, each successive shot increases your charge level by 1 anyway, thus doing far more damage over time. Additionally, you can do a power shot following any shot with the bow. This can be done twice in a row. It's a great way to finish a combo for some extra damage. You can also do charge sidesteps by pressing B in any direction following a shot. This not only keeps you extremely mobile, but increases the power of your shots as you continue your assault. Utilizing the charge sidestep is key in keeping your DPS high and consistent, and is only further improved when you add in power shots. As demonstrated here in the training room, with the right stamina skills, you can extend these combos almost indefinitely. By pressing A during a regular shot, you can do an arc shot. Different bows have different arc shot types that will assist players in some way, whether it be recovery, affinity, or brace. You can check your bow's arc shot type here. By pressing X plus A, you can do this Dragon Piercer move. You can charge your bow before initiating a Dragon Piercer for more damage. This is especially useful for waking up monsters with a one big hit attack. Now for Y-bug attacks.
Pressing ZL plus A will have you move forward in the direction you are facing while gaining a slight temporary buff to your attacks. Your default ZL plus X attack has you vault backwards and crouch, allowing you to restore stamina quickly. The longer you stay crouched, the more stamina that will be restored. This is ideal for when you don't have any stamina managing skills at your disposal. However, when you do have those skills, I recommend swapping it out for the move Aerial Aim. To unlock this, you simply need to clear 3-star village or 2-star hub quests. This move is an excellent combo finisher, which will deal even further damage on top of your power shots, while doing mounting damage.